The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a lingerie designer who appears to have it all is found bludgeoned to death with a sex paddle, police suspect she could be the victim of an intruder. But when they learn her life isn't as rosy as it seems, they'll do whatever it takes to get the case all sewn up.
Francine? Francine? God, Francine. Francine. It's me, Tai. Francine, wake up.
Not exactly the Monday morning Tai envisioned when he came to visit his good friend Francine.
I need help, please. Hurry.
When lead investigator Detective Lopez arrives at the crime scene, he notices Francine has been beaten to death with a sex paddle.
Over the hundreds of cases I worked with the FBI, I learned that whenever you see something like a victim killed by a bedroom toy or in a state of undress, you have to at least consider the possibility that you're looking at a sex game that went wrong. If that's the case, Francine's killer would have had sexual contact with her. And that means the best option for finding him is to pull DNA from something he left behind. Oh, come on, let's just say it. I'm talking about semen. And looking at the state of this bed, there's a lot to choose from. Still less than most hotel rooms, though, seriously. After years of seeing hotel rooms checked with UV light, I would never sleep on those sheets, which is how I've ended up as that weird old guy who travels around with his own linens.
Hello?
Who is this? And why answer my wife's phone?
This is Detective Lopez, and if your wife is Francine, there's been an incident.
Alistister, Francine's husband, is out of town on his annual hunting trip with his frat buddies. 10 years ago, that's how he and Francine first met. It would change Francine's life forever.
Hey, you must be Alistister.
Hi, yeah.
Francine.
Francine?
Yeah, Tim invited me over for the weekend.
You hunt?
No.
At first, Francine wants nothing to do with Alistister. But Alistister is more than a little intrigued by her. Back at university, he works hard to win her over, and the two soon become friends, with benefits.
Looks great, babe. You should try to sell it.
Oh, no one would buy my stuff.
Of course they would. You're a great designer.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
And before long, Francine and Alistister jump into a full-on relationship. They spend the rest of college joined at the hip. When they graduate, they tie the knot.
Okay, wait, you can put it down.
The newlyweds work hard to build a life together and make their dreams come true.
I love you.
I love you too.
Francine launches a high-end lingerie line, while Alistister decides to write the next great American novel.
At first, Francine and Alistister are young and in love. But over the years, their lives become less Leave It to Beaver and more Desperate Housewives. When Francine hits the big time and there's still no novel in sight, Alistair's fragile man ego is shattered. He decides the best thing to do is enjoy Francine's underwear and the big bucks it brings into their bank account.
Babe, leave me your credit card. There's this awesome jet ski I've been wanting to check out.
Really? The motorcycle wasn't enough?
Well, Francine spends long hours running her company.
Gotta go.
Thanks, babe. You're the best.
Yeah.
Alistair lives like a king, sleeping until noon, regular spa days, and treating his frat buddies to scotch tastings and cigars. As Alistair rushes back to the city, Detective Lopez turns to Francine's body for answers about when she got her deadly paddling.
Getting a solid time of death is vital in a homicide case, because once you have that, you can start checking alibis and narrowing in on suspects. So when did Francine die? Her limbs are stiff but not rigid, so I'm thinking she's been dead maybe 24 to 48 hours, which means she would have been killed between late Friday night to midday on Sunday. Talk about your rough weekend.
But when the DNA results come in, they show all traces of semen belong to Alistair.
Well, those results don't help us get any more answers. Unless, of course, your question is how virile Alistair happens to be.
My wife meant everything to me, Detective. You better find the guy that did this to her. Here. Thanks.
No problem.
Alistair tells police the last time he saw Francine was right before he left on his annual frat reunion hunting trip. And everything was more than fine between them.
Looking for this?
Yes, I was. I love you. Woo! Instead of wasting your time talking to me, you should be interviewing Tai.
Excuse me?
He was her lover, after all.
Sorry, Tai?
Okay, we've got lingerie, a sex paddle, and now a lover. Is this a case or an episode of Dynasty?
Alistair reveals to police that his wife Francine was having a fling with her friend Tai.
I've been slaving since September with my nose to a book. I missed 100 mamacitas cause I ain't got time to look. So when my bros called me up, I didn't have
But while Francine was seeing Tai on the side, she wasn't cheating. They were all part of a swingers club. Drop your keys in the fishbowl and pick up anybody else's you want to go home with.
So it turns out that Alistair and Francine had an open marriage. Translation, they could see who they wanted to see on the side, but the deal was that any side relationships had to stay light and be focused only on sex, not on intimacy, because your spouse banging a stranger is cool, but cuddling afterwards? Oh, no. That is over the line.
Over the years, Francine has developed a whole set of rules for their engagements, but Alistair is less than willing to follow them.
I get that rules are supposed to protect against jealousy, but you really can't control emotions like that. At least I don't think you can. I mean, it's not like I have firsthand experience swinging. I mean, clearly, I'm way too straight-laced for that. I mean, I'm blushing just talking about all this. Are we done?
Hey, babe.
Babe? I don't want to do this anymore. I just want it to be just the two of us again.
Francine decides it's time to trade swinging for a swing set.
I want to try having a baby.
Of course, honey. Anything for you. You know that. Yeah, my wife and I had an open relationship. It was an agreement we had. But when we closed the marriage, Ty got all weird about it. He didn't take it too well. Guys like Ty don't get a lot of women, so they get weirdly attached. You understand that, right, Detective?
I'm not agreeing with Alistair's logic, but I am with him that Ty needs to be looked at as a suspect. Okay, let's face it. He found the body, which already makes him a person of interest. And he used to sleep with the victim, which makes him more interesting. All that is more than enough to interview him, no matter how good he is or isn't at picking up women.
I would never hurt Francine. I adored her.
Ty claims he took Francine out for Chinese food on Friday, but just as friends. Then he dropped her off at home around 1 and headed straight out to a weekend retreat.
What is it that you do on the retreat?
I LARP.
Sorry, you LARP?
Live action role play.
Oh.
I'm a swashbuckling pirate.
You're a pirate. Drink up, mateys.
Live-action role-play is like computer gaming, only more dorky. Players create characters, then get together to portray them for hours or weekends at a time, all in the hope of gaining fake acclaim and admiration. So it's like The Suburbs, but with dragons instead of nosy neighbors.
How did you make out?
Well, I was very close to getting the bounty chest, but Stubby Pete, my friend, got there before I did.
Sorry, your friend Stubby Pete?
Yeah, he has a peg leg.
Oh, Stubby Pete?
The alibi may be odd, but it's solid. With over 50 people at the event, including site security, there's very little chance that Ty could sneak away to kill Francine. With Ty ruled out as a suspect, and the images of the scratches on Alistair's neck still fresh in his mind, Detective Lopez looks more closely at Alistair's alibi.
I'm just following up on an investigation on your dad's friend, Alistair.
He questions Vanessa, daughter of Alistair's frat buddy Tim, who was hosting the hunting trip weekend.
He said he was here recently?
Yeah. Alistair was up at the cabin with my dad and their friends, like, all weekend. He came over, he was here on Friday, and they drove up together.
Friday now. Do you remember specifically what time on Friday?
Like around 5:30. I remember because he was making this big deal out of a movie that was on TV.
Hey, we're gonna leave now.
Okay, bye, Dad.
I'm gonna let off.
Awesome. All right. Icebox. Great movie. I caught this one last night.
Detective Lopez finally gets a break from the most unexpected source.
But you know what was super weird about that movie?
What's that?
So the whole thing was about this husband who kills his wife. And like a few days later, Francine is dead.
I don't know if I'd call that weird, and I certainly don't believe in coincidences. What I do believe in is good police work, and I'd be chasing down this connection because it could prove to be a solid lead.
When Detective Lopez watches Icebox, the movie Alistair was raving about before leaving town, he discovers that the husband not only kills his wife, but gets away with the crime by blasting the air conditioning in the house, distorting his victim's supposed time of death.
Thanks for coming back.
Detective Lopez calls Tai down to the station for another interview, but he only has one question in mind.
When you discovered the body, how cold was it? What was the temperature like?
Well, when I got there, the bedroom door was closed. The air conditioner was on full blast, so it was freezing. And I turned the AC off.
Time of death is usually calculated based on factors like rigor mortis. But when a body is in the cold, rigor mortis can be delayed by hours, or if the temperature is below freezing, even days.
Police thought Francine was killed between late Friday and late Saturday. But once you factor in the temperature of the room, you have to roll the time of death back. And we know she had lunch with Tai at 1 on Friday. But any time after that is in play. Now the question is, was she killed before Alistair left town, making him a viable suspect or not?
Detective Lopez comes up with an unorthodox way to ascertain Francine's true time of death.
Most people don't realize that the stomach stops working almost immediately after a victim dies. So whatever they just ate is basically preserved in their stomachs after death.
Francine still had Chinese food in her stomach from her 1 o'clock lunch with Tai. The stomach takes a maximum of 8 hours to digest food. So Francine's time of death must be somewhere between 1 and 9 p.m. on Friday.
But the only way to prove that is to establish how many hours it takes for the same Chinese food to get as digested as the contents of Francine's stomach. And the only way to do that is to eat the same food as Francine and then throw it up at regular intervals until there's a match. And you know what that means? It means this case is about to get gross. And that right there is why criminals should never underestimate law enforcement, because we'll do whatever it takes to crack a case. The whole situation may seem bizarre, but it works. The food matches at 4 hours, which means Francine was killed right around 5 p.m. That gives Alistair just enough time to have committed the murder, then driven over to Tim's house. I know it's rude to eat and run, but what about kill and run? That's gotta be worse.
A year after Francine's death, Detective Lopez's case against Alistair has gone cold. But then, Tim's daughter comes forward.
So, the night that Alistair came over?
With a confession that cracks the case wide open.
Hey, Francine.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm gonna miss you too.
She realized Alistair
We'll talk first thing in the morning.
was speaking to the dial tone.
Okay?
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, okay, bye.
The only reason to fake a call like that is if you know someone's dead, but you want to make everyone else think they're still alive. And the only person who would want to do that is a killer trying to shore up his alibi. Alistair thinks he's smart enough to trick everyone around him, like he's so evil genius. But someone ought to tell him he's more Homer Simpson than Hannibal Lecter.
Detective Lopez finally has all he needs to charge Alistair with Francine's murder.
All the evidence points to you. You're under arrest for the murder of your wife.
Right. I killed my wife, the woman I was happily married to? Because that makes sense.
All right, let's get going. Come on, Buttercup. Let's go.
He's not wrong. The lack of obvious motive means the case isn't a slam dunk, and Alistair's now rich enough to lawyer up with the best team possible.
At trial, the truth of Francine and Alistair's relationship comes pouring out.
Want to go again?
Oh, yeah.
Get out of my house. Get out!
Are you...
What is this?
It was the same as before. I don't understand why it's a big...
Because I want to change.
Okay.
I wanted things
Why don't you calm
differently.
down?
I left Tai and we talked about this. You said that was good. You said whatever you want.
I said what I thought
Then
you
what-
wanted to hear, okay? Is that what you want? I don't want a baby. It's not about you. It's my life, too. I like my life the way it was.
Francine designed lingerie, but Alistair's the one with a pattern. While he agreed to close his marriage, he continued seeing his girlfriends on the side.
What is it about? I thought it was about us.
It is about us.
Then
Why can't we do
then
both?
Why does she have to be here? What do you want? What do you want from me? I give you everything. For
You
you.
know what? This...
When Francine confronted Alistair about his cheating, he became violent, and she decided it was time to leave.
I don't want this.
What do you want, then?
I want a divorce.
God damn it!
Alistair knew that if Francine went, her money and his playboy lifestyle went with her. So he decided he couldn't afford to let her go, at least not alive.
Get my shirt. What are you wearing that for?
Don't worry, it's not for you.
The air conditioning idea is actually a pretty good one, and it did confuse the police about Francine's time of death, at least for a while. But you know what isn't a good idea? Ripping your MO off from a movie that's playing on TV at the time. And then on top of that, blabbing about how you saw the film and you loved it. I'd say criminals should learn to zip it, but then it would make them harder to catch. So as far as I'm concerned, they can just keep on gabbing and keep on getting locked up.
Alistair is convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole.
Like a little black dress, true love never goes out of style. But if you're with a man who treats women like fashion trends, picking them up and discarding them as he pleases, be careful. Because I promise you, no matter what he says, the only threesome he really cares about is me, myself, and I.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, On the surface, wealthy plastic surgeon James and his homemaker wife, Julia, are the picture-perfect power couple. But behind closed doors, they both wrestle with personal demons.
Who's Miss Triple X?
When their marriage hits the rocks, detectives must look for a mysterious plus-size lady.
All right.
Who's dressed to kill. Seattle, Washington, a city blessed with natural beauty.
We'll lift a little here.
But for some citizens, natural is a relative term.
While we're at it, take care of that neck. It's quite a waddle you have.
James is a respected plastic surgeon with a very successful practice.
Can you please come in here for a moment?
His wife, Julia, is a happy homemaker and devoted mother to their only child, Isabel.
Isabel has her riding lesson at 4 o'clock. Can you please make sure she's properly attired?
James earns the big bucks, and Julia runs the household. It's 1984, so it's not that unusual a setup. On the surface, they appear to be playing their roles perfectly. But looks can be deceiving.
Hello?
You know?
I don't like to be kept waiting.
James has a reputation for being a strict taskmaster.
I was in the bathroom.
I bet you were taking a bubble bath, getting ready to see your secret lover later.
James, please. I've got errands to run.
You know, it seems like Dr. James is not just a taskmaster, but controlling and a little bit paranoid. But I guess it comes with the territory. I mean, I might be paranoid if I had to please wealthy and potentially litigious clients. Or could it be he's not paranoid and Julia is actually having an affair? Can you blame her?
But there was a time when James wasn't always so in control. As for Julia, she was a free spirit who dreamed of becoming a painter. But she suffered from dramatic mood swings that she managed by self-medicating with Quaaludes and Benzedrine.
You gotta be careful with uppers like Benny's and downers like Ludes because you don't want to go up when you need to go down and down when you need to go up. Not that I would know. I mean, back in '77, I'd just bought my first Farrah Fawcett poster. But back to Julia and James. The thing with addicts, even the so-called high-functioning types, is they rely on their fix to get them through the day. The balancing act lasts only so long.
Hi, my name is Gail, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Julia and James meet at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Even though it's against the rules to date while in Narcotics Anonymous, James and Julia can't resist one another. In the midst of kicking their habits, their relationship takes an unexpected turn.
A baby?
After a shotgun wedding, James opens his own plastic surgery clinic and expects Julia to quit her job and raise their child. But a few years into their picture-perfect marriage, cracks start to appear.
You're wearing that. Where's the halston?
I thought this would be more appropriate for tonight.
Appropriate for what? A hoedown?
If I ever talk to my wife like that, well, I don't, because waiting for the other shoe to drop makes me nervous. Anyway, Dr. James is what we call a dry drunk. His fix is controlling every aspect of his life, especially his his wife. And as for Julia, well, she became a homemaker for this guy. She may love the money, but I can bet she's not loving the price she's having to pay.
Oh, go change. We're going to be late.
No. I like this dress. Then you can stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Get ready, ladies. Here we go. 1, a 2, a 1, 2 step together. Yes.
Julia, no longer content to play the role of happy homemaker that James expects, starts asserting her independence.
Now watch me for the pony. Pony. Pony.
Lefem Arubic, Serafina speaking. How can I help you become your most fabulous self?
Put my wife on the phone now.
Julia's getting her groove back, and for a guy with James' ego and weaknesses, if he's losing control over his wife, then that makes him terrified he's losing control of his life.
She's teaching a class right now. Call back.
Who's the man? You are the man. Who is the man? You are the man.
When someone with James' coping mechanisms, or lack of them, is scared, they don't just run and hide. No, they come out swinging.
Well, if it isn't my little Jane Fonda home from another long day of leg lifts.
James, your material's getting old. Why don't you do your act for somebody that cares?
Are you forgetting who pays your way?
James, stop.
Or what, you'll leave? I've heard that before, honey. You wouldn't last a minute out there without my money. And you won't get Izzy. She can do better than a mother who neglects her.
You want to play dirty? Careful, because I'm ready to roll around in the mud.
I don't know where my wife is. Leave me alone, for Christ's sakes.
A successful surgeon and his beautiful wife make a pretty picture. But from the looks of the bedroom and the aftermath of their fight, it's a whole other story. It's possible Julia has taken off to cool down, or she's making plans to leave for good.
When Julia misses her aerobics classes that afternoon, her boss, Serafina, is concerned and goes to the police.
This is not like Julia. Her husband hated her working, like hated. You should hear the way he speaks to her.
All right, what is it you want me to do?
Find Julia.
What if I could? I'm just telling you there are procedures.
James might be controlling and verbally abusive, but while that's repulsive, it's not enough to open an investigation, yet. A person can't be declared officially missing until they've been gone at least 48 hours, and police will only conduct a search if they believe the disappearance is suspicious.
A few days later, detectives get a call from a gas station attendant.
I was just taking out the trash, man. Honest.
Uh-huh. Julia, huh?
With 48 hours passed and the discovery of her ID, Julia is now officially considered a missing person. In the same bag as the ID, detectives find rope and nail clippers with what looks like dried blood on them, and an assortment of women's garments, all sized extra, extra large.
I know, right?
That's a whole lot of woman. Julia is petite, so I'd rule out the wardrobe as being hers, but whoever it does belong to could be involved with her disappearance or has knowledge of her whereabouts. The nail clippers are gonna need to be tested, because if the blood on them is a match to Julia, well, that might be evidence she was taken against her will. But before police go hunting for a Rubenesque mystery woman with colorful taste, they need to start closer to home. The first person they're gonna want to talk to is the husband.
Detectives want to know why James didn't report Julia as missing.
It's not the first time she's done this. Last time she abandoned her car behind a video rental store.
Well, how do you explain her ID found with a pile of garments that, shall we say, should have belonged to someone with more generous proportions?
Absolutely no idea. All right. We had a fight. I found some used condoms behind the bed, so I confronted her. My guess is she ran away with her new lover. It's Julia's, in case you need a scent for the sniffer dogs.
This guy is so caring, it gets me right there. But giving cops your wife's blouse to get a scent for search dogs isn't the weirdest thing I've ever run across during any kind of investigation. In fact, I had this one guy who claimed to have a split personality, only the other personality was a dog. And I don't speak Rottweiler. Well, bits and pieces, but not fluent. So James has answers for all the police's questions, but as a cop, when you've got the scent of something that doesn't feel quite right, you gotta follow your nose and see where it takes you.
Detective Falco talks with Serafina, hoping she can shed some more light on Julia's whereabouts.
I told you something was up, but you didn't listen.
All right. You know what? I'm listening now. I'm all ears. Did she have any secrets? Okay. Look, her husband came to me. He indicated that she might be having something on the side.
What? Jimmy Boy's the one with the secrets. Julia told me everything.
Serafina tells detectives that Julia got suspicious that her husband was having an affair. She broke into a chest that James forbade her to touch, looking for evidence.
Don't touch those.
Who's Miss Triple X, huh?
They are not Triple X.
Whatever. But they are cheap.
Okay then, big lady's underwear, it's becoming a theme. But what exactly James is doing with a bunch of women's clothes in a locked chest in his bedroom is a mystery. Or is it? Could it be just a little kinky?
Fool denied that he was cheating on her, and he even commanded her to stop breaking into his guilty treasures box.
Oh, sorry. Want one?
I don't do candy.
Suit yourself. All right, so you have any other information about Julia leaving her husband?
Yeah.
Serafina reveals that Julia had been planning her exit for some time, stashing away money and looking for an apartment for her and Isabel.
She was really gonna do it this time, even though she was petrified. Because if James found out, oh Lord.
You have to tell me where you're disappearing all night.
Me?
Yes.
Julia confessed to Serafina that she and James argued and that he was becoming more and more violent and paranoid.
Can your lover buy you all new clothes? No?
Serafina tells police that Julia couldn't bear the constant threat of abuse and violence.
I swear to you, there's no lover!
That's got us smart, and it looked like real silk, too. Julia's adamant she's not cheating, but James is not buying it. But that could be a classic misdirect. If you're the one having the affair, then you go on the offensive to shake any suspicion. All those big lady clothes, they make you wonder, could James have a mistress and they did something to take Julia out of the picture? But until police find Julia, it's only a theory.
But then, detectives catch a break. They get a call that a body has been found behind a video arcade that matches Julia's description. The body is officially ID'd as Julia.
From the state of decomposition, I'd say Julia has been dead more than a few days. So that puts it right around the time her husband claims she ran off with another guy. Now that they have Julia's body, they need to trace how it got there. And back in '84, when I started in the Bureau, forensics was a lot less high-tech, but the same rules applied. You want to solve a murder, you start with what the body tells you.
The autopsy concludes that Julia's cause of death was suffocation. The red fibers on her body turn out to be satin. And the towel Julia was wrapped in is determined to be a rare and expensive brand from Turkey. When police search the house, they discover a pillow with a trace of blood on it. Under the bed, they find a towel that is an exact replica of the one Julia's body was wrapped in.
You say, Steve, why not check the DNA? Well, back in '84, DNA profiling was just being developed. Nobody had ever even used it in a case. So to make a case in the '80s, it took more legwork. Every single piece of evidence has to conclusively connect to the crime. Back then, we just couldn't wave the DNA wand.
Thank you.
When the fibers on the pillow were tested, they're found to be a match for those found on Julia's body. And the blood on the pillow is Julia's blood type. That's enough for police to bring James in for questioning. But they can't find him anywhere. They search his bank records and discover that James has been withdrawing huge amounts of cash. They're worried he's planning on fleeing the country. Police managed to track James down at his travel agents.
What do you say we make like a stripper?
Absolutely not. I know my rights.
Actually, James, you don't. It's not uncommon for the police to ask people taken into custody to strip down. In this case, it's a chance to photograph any injuries, tattoos, or scars that can be key in their investigation. If James is hiding any cuts, bruises, or markings, the hope is they can be linked to Julia's murder.
The police identify recent scarring on James's torso and a little something else.
Yes, I am the big lady.
Oh, you're a big something, James. I gotta admit, I didn't see that coming. So the lingerie at the gas station and the secret trunk all belong to James. My question is, where did he get that little lacy number? It's cute. Not on him. There is no mystery lady. James, the dominant, controlling plastic surgeon, is a cross-dresser. Talk about a not-so-sweet transvestite. Cross-dressing comes from the man's desire to explore his feminine side, and for many guys, it's an outlet for stress. The more tension at work or home, the more they want to dress up. With his marriage on the rocks, his addiction, and the stress of keeping his cross-dressing a secret, well, James was probably one big hot mess. But big panties alone don't prove that he killed his wife. The police need more evidence to make a murder charge stick.
So tell me, have you ever seen this guy before?
Yeah, man. That dude was a real jerk.
Turns out, on the same day Julia's body was found, James went to the gas station to get his car detailed.
He was mucho particular with his trunk being spotless.
I'll bet he was, and I'll bet he didn't tip either, but Mick just nailed the last piece into place. The evidence against James is coming together. The fibers on Julia's body match the pillow at the house that's got her blood on it. She was wrapped in the exact same towel found in the house. Serafina's statement sets up James' threatening behavior. And Mick puts James at the gas station with his car the day of Julia's disappearance. And I'll bet, just a bet, when they examine the car trunk, they're gonna find more evidence. Now, if the police can get James to confess, they can tie this case up with a nice big bow.
Hello, it's been an hour. What's going on? Finally. Thank you. Though I would have preferred a sparkling water.
Oh, would you? James, it's time for you to stop yammering and listen up for a change.
Detective Falco lays out all the evidence they have tying James to Julia's death.
We swept the trunk. There are traces of Julia's hair and blood all over it. We got you dead to rights, man. Anything to say?
Fine. Yes, I did it. But it was in self-defense.
Now, how did he come up with that one? Well, I'll bet James likes to watch cop dramas when he's not doing tummy tucks and facelifts. My money's on Cagney and Lacey. No, Miami Vice. That show was awesome.
What about the lingerie? What about the wig?
Leave this alone.
Tell me, James.
Leave it alone.
James admits he and Julia were arguing like they always did. But then, she got ugly.
I know what you are. Don't deny it. How could you? What if people find out? We'll be laughingstocks.
Julia, please, I beg you.
Julia's reaction to James' big secret is not unusual. This was the early 80s after all, and people were a little bit less accepting about men dressing like women. James' shame at being found out and being rejected by his wife must have been too much for this control freak to bear.
I won't let you ruin my life.
In fear of his life, James says he acted out of instinct. He claimed that after he killed Julia, he put her in the car and tried to bury the body at a friend's country house. But that didn't work out. So he parked the car for the weekend before he finally found a dumpster.
She just didn't understand. She was so small town. I had to destroy my best bra and panty set because of her. Can I please get that sparkling water?
James has spilled his big Lacey secret, but so far they've only got his side of the story. Unless Julia can speak up from the grave.
Hi, Detective.
But evidence from an unexpected source threatens to blow that claim out of the water.
Where did you get this?
It's from Julia.
Julia sent a letter to her boss the day before her death.
Turns out, Julia was planning to use the evidence of James' cross-dressing to blackmail him. Apparently, she'd known about his fancy for women's lingerie for a while. She was threatening to blow his cover if he didn't give her a divorce, alimony, and full custody of their child. Blackmail is a really strong motive for murder. His professional reputation was on the line. He was terrified of losing everything: his career, his money, the life he built. And given his control issues, violent behavior, and the deep shame he felt about his cross-dressing fetish, Julia was playing with fire.
With the help of the letter, police pieced together what likely happened that night.
No, don't go in there. Julia!
Julia finally had enough of James's paranoia and abuse and decided to fight back.
Blushing bride, French maid, oh, my favorite, the naughty nurse.
Do not touch those.
Be my guest. I've got copies. I want a divorce. And if you try to take Izzy away from me, I will not hesitate to use them in court.
You think you can threaten me?
Julia is counting on James giving in to her threat, but instead, he snaps.
Do not lose. Forget it.
Upon further analysis, the medical examiner rules that James's wounds were self-inflicted with nail clippers.
James tried to make it look like Julia attacked him, but good old-fashioned detective work and science got the better of him. Even though DNA wasn't around as a technique in '84, forensics did the job of tying him to the crime, and James' self-defense claim is shut down. I wonder if he's got a special prison ensemble in his wardrobe. An orange, maybe?
James is charged with second-degree murder. But on the way to his first court appearance, James collapses. He's rushed to hospital, where he dies.
Turns out that James had terminal cancer, and he knew his days were numbered. He was so terrified of losing his status as the rich, successful surgeon that he was willing to do whatever it took to keep it, including murder. But in the end, he wasn't even around to care. He didn't go through a public trial that exposed his cross-dressing secret. So he got to keep his precious reputation and get out of serving hard time for killing Julia. It's kind of the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. Jeez, the lengths some people will go to.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, Jesús works hard to make ends meet in Mexico.
I wish you could follow your heart.
Until he rolls the dice on a move to Vegas.
2 lottery tickets. Atta boy.
And hits the jackpot.
I can take care of you now, Mama.
But in Sin City,
I'll take the fault for the right price.
You can do that, right?
There's always a devil waiting to make your life go bust.
No, please. I'm talking to him.
You're ripping me off just like everybody else.
Living in one of Mexico's poorest regions, Jesús and his adoring mother, Esperanza, spend their days struggling to make ends meet.
Okay. Jesús, tortillas.
Momento, Mama. This is for you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, ciao.
Life may be hard, but Jesús finds joy in his passion for magic.
Hey, Mom. Show you a trick. Pick a card.
No.
There. Put your hand on it.
Okay.
Okay. Look.
Increíble, Jesús. You're such a talent. I wish you could follow your heart.
Actually, I could. Remember Alejandro?
Jesús's childhood friend from the barrio, Alejandro, moved to Las Vegas 2 years ago and recently offered to help Jesús join him.
I'm not going without you, Mama. Te quiero.
For a year, Jesús saves every penny so that his dream of moving to Las Vegas with his mother can come true. But when it happens, the reality is nothing like he imagined.
Ay caramba, eh, Jesus? We gotta clean up all this crap. What you see here, don't go running off at the mouth like those cleaning ladies, all right? Comprende?
Yeah, Tom.
Unable to read and write English, Jesus is forced to take the only job he can, as a post-party cleaner for major hotel chains on the Vegas Strip.
Boy, I sure would like to meet the gal that fills this one out. Hey, think fast.
After a 12-hour shift, Jesus is about to catch the first of 3 buses to take him home to the tiny apartment he shares with Esperanza, when Tom offers him a ride.
I'm going into the corner store to get some liquor. You want anything? Gum, candy, mints,
2 lottery
soda?
tickets.
2 lottery tickets? Atta boy, Pedro, you're getting into the Vegas vibe.
It's just lottery tickets.
2 tickets today. Best friends with my bookie by the end of the month.
I'm with Jesus on this one. Give me a job with a stable paycheck and a good retirement plan any day. But I'm boring like that. When my friends dragged me out to the casino, they played the tables while I head straight for the buffet, because the only thing I'm willing to bet on is how fresh the shrimp is.
And this week's winning lotto numbers are 7, 19, 20, 24, 43,
¿Serio?
45, 49.
We won.
Jesus collects a cool $22 million. Jesus uses his newfound wealth to buy his mother a new house and car.
This is beautiful, conejito.
I can take care of you now, Mama.
But when Jesus' family back home learn about his big win, they decide they deserve a cut.
I get that people want to win that big old lottery payout, and hey, I'm human. I imagine what it would be like too sometimes. But my work has taught me that getting rich quick has its downsides. Sometimes what you get is a jackpot of disappointment and trouble.
Jesus' family aren't the only ones trying to get their fingers on his cash.
Get out of my way, Mama Son. Let me at him. I'll talk to him. Let me talk to him first there. Hey, Jesus. I bought that lottery ticket at the corner store fair and square. You owe me half of that money.
Estás loco.
No loco there. There's the check there. Put my name on it. My name's Tom.
Muy loco.
No muy loco there. If you don't write that check, I'm gonna sue you. You know why? Because this is America and I can do that.
Tom, please.
No, please. I'm talking to him, not you.
Tom launches a lawsuit claiming he's entitled to half the winnings. The case is thrown out of court, but Tom's betrayal has already done its damage. Jesus sinks into a deep depression. Assuming everyone he meets is after his money, Jesus starts hiding out in the house, spending day after day on the couch.
It's hard when you see the dark side of people, especially those closest to you. I know it's not the same, but a lot of police officers go through a similar phase after they join the force, because we get to see the worst of human behavior. And that's one of the reasons I retired. Now that I'm home every day, I don't have to deal with the worst of human behavior. My wife does.
Who else wants my money? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Ellie, and I'm a personal wealth manager specializing in working with recent lottery and casino winners.
Okay.
Your name was passed on to me as a recent winner who might need some financial advice.
Jesus thinks Ellie could be the answer to his prayers and immediately makes an appointment to see her.
Jesus, thanks so much for coming in. So, you've got a lot of people asking you for some money.
Well, pretty much everybody I've known.
Tell me about it.
Ellie gets Jesus to open up about his problems, mainly not being able to turn down anyone who asks him for money.
You put me in charge of your cash, and I'll make sure no one touches a dime. Really, I'm tougher than a pit boss.
What do you do with my money?
Invest it in life settlements.
So there are funds that buy up people's life insurance policies. Then, if that person dies early, the fund gets the payout. Basically, you're playing roulette with lives. Hey, I'll put $20,000 on Jerry down the street to die of a heart attack.
I'm sorry, but I can't read or write in English.
Oh, that's no problem. It's just a standard contract. Nothing to worry about. It's just all legal stuff anyway, so... Right there.
I know Jesus wants this money off his hands, but who hands over millions of dollars to someone they just met? That's not naive, that's insane. You're just rolling the dice at that point and hoping you don't crap out.
That's it?
Yeah, perfect.
Over the next few months, Jesus and Ellie become fast friends.
So Pepper. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm thinking of starting my own show as soon as I get all my big tricks down. You think I can saw you in half?
Sure.
Unlike the other people in Jesus' life, Ellie never asks him for cash. Probably because she seems to have no shortage of it.
Sorry, my boyfriend and I were at the dealership looking at new sports cars. What can I do for you?
Well, I want to go traveling with my mom, and I would like to get some money.
The investments I put your winnings in are down. If you withdraw money now, you'll lose a bunch of its value.
Okay.
For someone who seems to be swimming in her own money, Ellie sure can't make a dime for anyone else. And that makes me think she's less focused on helping Jesus than helping herself to his money.
Or you could wait for the investments to rebound.
Jesus may already have gotten a lottery check, but maybe it's time for him to get a reality check and realize Ellie's taking advantage of him.
Hello?
Oh, hi. Is Jesus there?
Esperanza. Jesus told me you might call. He's actually on a magician's retreat, learning how to make buildings disappear and stuff.
When did he tell you this?
A couple days ago. But I have to go.
Okay.
Looks like Jesus' investments have bounced back after all. But why would a lifelong mama's boy leave town without talking to Esperanza about his trip, or more likely, taking her along?
But when Mother's Day rolls around a few weeks later, Jesus proves he hasn't forgotten about his mama.
Something doesn't add up here. You've got a guy who doesn't read or write in English who's suddenly writing novels over here. Either his retreat involves magically learning new languages, or he didn't write this card. And that tells me Jesus' American dream is turning into a nightmare.
My son is very depressed lately.
Is there any chance he would harm himself?
No, he would never leave his mama. We are mejor amigos.
Concerned about her son, Esperanza files a missing persons report with local police.
This letter, it's written in English, but he does not write in English, only Spanish.
Okay, let me take a look at it, ma'am.
It is not him.
Esperanza also shares the issues Jesus has had with family and friends since his big lottery win, including Tom's lawsuit. Detective Landon calls Tom down to the station to answer a few questions.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
So where you been?
I've been living out of town since the lawsuit ended. I've been off the grid on a medicinal marijuana farm in California. Keyword, medicinal.
Can anyone vouch for that?
Of course. Here's my partner's card. Call him.
Tom's alibi checks out. He's been living in California since the week after the lawsuit was settled. When Esperanza tells Ellie that Jesus is missing and the police are on the case, she rushes right over.
Hot chocolate? I know you're worried, but Jesus wouldn't want all this fuss. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. He'll turn up any minute.
Hello?
Mama, it's Jesus.
Conejito, ¿cómo estás? Where are you? I was worried.
Oh, Mama, I'm just away. I need some space. I'll be back soon.
But where exactly are you?
Jesus tells Esperanza he has to run, but assures her he's fine and to call off the investigation.
Jesus? Hello, Jesus?
Well, that sorts that out.
Oh, would you look at that? Jesus just happened to call when Ellie was there, and right after she learned about Esperanza talking to the police. Isn't that such a coincidence? And you know how I feel about coincidences. Between that and Ellie's cavalier attitude, I think she's working Esperanza, which tells me she knows more than she's letting on.
I know Mijo's voice. That wasn't my son on the phone.
Detective Landon discovers the call from Jesus can be traced back to his childhood friend.
Do you know who Alejandro is?
See, Alejandro is our friend, Jesus' best friend. He made it possible for us to come to America.
I brought you in today to talk about Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Before Detective Landon can question Alejandro, he cracks.
I pretended to be Jesus, okay? But only to help.
Alejandro tells Detective Landon that Jesus asked for a favor.
He can finally practice his magic in peace, so he needs you to call Esperanza so she doesn't worry about him while he's away.
Okay, what?
Just give her a call and let her know everything's all right.
According to Ellie, the best way Alejandro can help his childhood compadre is pretending to be him.
Now that's a bizarre request. If Jesus is so happy on his travels, why does he need someone to pretend to be him? And why doesn't he just call the police and tell them he doesn't want to be found? Sounds to me like Ellie's bluffing Alejandro here, but she'll never tell.
Of course, Jesus wants to make sure you're taken care of or helping him.
Okay, what do I do?
It's amazing how people's morals and views can change once there's money on the table. The more cash, the more flexible people become. And Ellie's got enough money to make Alejandro bend over backward for her.
When Detective Landon looks into Ellie's past, he discovers she's no stranger to law enforcement. A few years earlier, she was busted for selling fake casino chips to gullible tourists. The scam may have earned her a tidy profit, but it also cost her a year in prison.
Ellie's like the local casinos, glitzy on the outside with promises of wealth, happiness, and those fuzzy drinks served in plastic flamingos. What? I like fuzzy drinks. You can't judge me. Anyway, I know Ellie's kind. Underneath that shiny exterior lives the smarts of a pit boss, mixed with the cutthroat wiliness of a desert coyote.
You're gonna pretend to help Ellie.
Detective Landon hatches a plan to turn Ellie's scheming back on her. but it hinges on Alejandro's acting chops.
Get close to her. Record everything she says on this.
Well,
why are you up under your shirt?
No, you can't. Ellie hugs. She'll feel it.
Turns out Alejandro is a regular MacGyver, transforming Detective Landon's jumbo-sized pop cup into a recording device.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ellie thinks she's holding all the cards, but she doesn't realize that police are like the house. With enough time, we always win.
Come in.
Hi.
Hey, take a seat.
Okay, here.
Just working on my fishing lures, but you're welcome to join me.
Of course Ellie has a secret love of fishing, and I'm sure she's great at it. I mean, after all, she has lots of experience getting her hooks in.
I brought you these. Esperanza says you like them.
Thank you.
Determined to find his friend, Alejandro treats buddying up to Ellie as a full-time job.
Listen, Ellie, I need a favor. I mean, Jesus does. He's learning too much to come back from his magic retreats. Esperanza's getting worried again. If you could just make a few more calls to her and to some other family and friends, all paid, of course.
Sure. Just tell me when and what to say.
Great. Here's a list. Start at the top and work your way down.
Okay.
Wow, that's one crazy addiction you got going. Maybe you should cut back on the sugar.
Yeah, maybe I should. Hello, Juan?
Have you seen anything suspicious?
I mean, aside from her making me pretend to be my best friend,
After each visit, Alejandro reports his findings and delivers a tape of his conversations to police.
We have to push harder. We need something concrete on her.
I'm gonna need you to make another call to Esperanza. Tell her you're Jesus' bookie Ray.
His bookie?
When someone starts creating fake problems with supposed bad guys, they're usually setting up a fall guy. And most of the time, when you do that, it's because there's a body somewhere. And it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out.
You've already been such a big help to me, Alejandro, and I'm sure you've already figured out Jesus is not coming back.
Wait, what do you mean?
Alejandro, Jesus was killed. But I'll take care of you, pay your mortgage, take care of your debts, start college funds for your children. I just need you to find someone to take the rap for his murder. You can do that, right?
Of course. Yeah, I can do that.
When Alejandro reports the bombshell that Jesus is dead, Detective Landon decides it's time to go undercover as Mickey.
Do you want to sit?
Nope.
A hardened criminal with nothing to lose.
So, how do you two know each other?
Church.
Yeah.
Going undercover is a great way for us in law enforcement to work a suspect for information. An undercover officer can win a target's trust, getting them to open up. The only problem is if things go south, the target knows you're onto them. And that's why going undercover is like playing poker with high rollers. If you want to win, you got to go all in.
And why do you want to do this?
Listen, I'm facing 35 years for a robbery charge. I'll take the fall for another charge for the right price.
Okay, great.
Mickey agrees to confess to the murder for just $65,000.
tell me how you did it. Cut the crap. We both know you did it. And I'm not doing this unless you tell me.
Fine.
Ellie claims she invited Jesus over to discuss problems with his investments.
No mames, you're ripping me off just like everybody else.
I really think you're overreacting. You need to calm down. Issues arose with your investments, and I dealt with them the best way that I could. What are you doing?
I'm calling the police. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
That night, she does a little DIY project with Jesus's remains.
So what did I do with the body?
You portioned it and cemented it into a statue.
I portioned it
Yeah?
into a statue.
Yeah.
Where's my murder weapon?
Why?
Not wanting to hinge the police case solely on Ellie's confession, Mickey pushes her further.
I'll have to turn it in when I confess, make him believe it.
Detective Landon knows the stakes in this case are big, but if he can get the knife, that'll be the last card he needs to make a winning hand and take down the Queen of Cons.
Ellie knows Mickey needs the murder weapon to take the fall for killing Jesus, but she doesn't know he's an undercover cop trying to play her.
Ellie thinks she just got off scot-free, but she doesn't realize she handed over the information and evidence police need to prove she killed Jesus. She hasn't just tied up this case for us, she's put a pretty bow on it too.
Unbeknownst to Ellie, Detective Landon now has the evidence he needs to get a warrant to search the garage. There, he finds Jesus's remains encased in concrete. When the autopsy results come in, they show that Jesus has been stabbed multiple times in the abdomen by the knife Ellie handed over to Mickey.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
Take a seat.
Detective Landon confronts Ellie with the findings from Jesus's autopsy.
I know you killed him, Ellie.
I didn't, I swear. There was an angry bookie. His name is Ray. He stabbed Jesus. I wanted to go to the police, but he said if I ever did, he'd kill me too. No thanks, I'm good.
Oh, this isn't a drink. This was holding a tape recorder when you asked Alejandro to say he was Ray, a bookie.
I knew Alejandro was a sneak.
Sure she did. That's why she spilled everything to him. If you ask me, Ellie's just mad because Alejandro tricked her all the time, while the best story she could come up with was an angry bookie. You'd think a Vegas gal could be more creative than that.
Fine, I did it. But I had to.
I'll put it all back, I promise.
Just as I thought, Ellie was skimming money out of Jesus's accounts, taking advantage of the fact that he couldn't read or write in English. She thought Jesus was her cash cow until he started asking questions and her big-time con seemed like big-time trouble.
I'm calling the police.
Not willing to go back to jail, Ellie killed Jesus to keep him quiet. She's convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
Jesus wanted to live his dream, but he was driven by fear. Instead of taking control of his life when he won the lottery, He practically threw his money and his future at Ellie, just so he didn't have to say no to everyone trying to get their paws on his cash. But the problem with betting on a stranger is that sometimes you win big, and sometimes you find yourself face to face with snake eyes.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when nerdy Ned gets dumped, he hightails it back to his hometown.
Look, it's a belly button ring.
And licks his wounds with Singapore slings and strippers.
I think it's time we call it. Let's call it a good time.
But when Ned gets cozy with the hottest dancer in the club,
hell no.
Trouble comes knocking.
Bingo.
Leading detectives to a body rotting in the parking lot of the local casino.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
Laverne, Michigan, 2000. In a small town outside of Detroit, an employee of the casino and lounge, Michigan Casinos, notices a strange smell coming from the parking lot.
Oh, gee whiz, that's right.
Jerry, a longtime employee of the casino, tracks the scent to a fancy sports car. Unable to open the trunk, he calls the Laverne Sheriff's Department. Detective Pam Laurel arrives on the scene.
Unseasonably warm weather there, eh, Pammy?
That it is, Jerry.
And attempts to jimmy open the lock.
Thinking it might be a deer or something, seeing it's the end of deer season. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
But instead of a rotting deer carcass, Detective Laurel finds a body. And it's human.
Doesn't smell too nice there, does it?
The body has begun to decompose, and the face has been bludgeoned beyond recognition.
It's the middle of winter in the northeastern United States, so the killer probably thought the body would stay frozen, at least for another month or two, till they could figure out what to do with it. But if the weatherman can't predict the weather with certainty, a careless killer can't either.
No ID.
And a decaying corpse rotting away in a small, hot space.
Oh, wow.
Can be a dead giveaway that there's a new murder in town.
When Detective Laurel runs the license plate, she discovers the car belongs to a local man by the name of Ned. Ned is a socially awkward computer nerd who desperately wants to party with the cool kids. Up until a year ago, he was a happily married Silicon Valley tech whiz, until his wife of 5 years had an affair with the plumber and divorced him. Her wealthy family paid him loads of cash to get out of town. He returned to his childhood home, wealthy but emotionally distraught.
Excuse me. Hi.
Back home, Ned wallows in self-pity, trying to console himself with liquor and beautiful women.
Now, what's your name?
It's human nature to want to console yourself after you get dumped. I get it. You pick your poison, indulge a little, then get back on your feet. But when you hit rock bottom and stay there, you tend to make some pretty bad decisions, and those decisions can come back to haunt you in ways you never dreamed of.
Unable to track Ned after finding a dead body in the trunk of his car.
Pam?
Lauren, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'd say close to senior prom.
Detective Laurel brings his brother in for questioning.
How's Cheryl?
She's good. How's Wayne?
Good.
Lorne is the local pastor
We're looking for Ned.
and is well known for his good deeds in the community.
You know, after the divorce, Cheryl and I, we opened our hearts and our homes to Ned. Then he started hanging out with that rough crowd, you know. So Cheryl and I said, you gotta go.
Lorne admits that Ned has been going on benders since he returned home. And it's not uncommon for him to lose touch with his family for days or even weeks.
I hate to break it to you, Lauren, but we found a rotten body in the back of Ned's trunk.
Oh, did you now?
Yep. So, do you think he's capable of murder?
Detective Laurel is looking at two possibilities right now. Ned's either on a bender and has no idea where his car is, much less who's in his trunk, or he's gotten mixed up with some bad folks who've gotten him into a, shall we say, compromising position.
Detective Laurel shows Lorne a belly button ring found on the body in the trunk.
Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. This is Ned's.
Huh.
Well, where'd you find this?
I can't say.
So Lawrence basically identified the body. Sure, we still need an autopsy to confirm, but 9 out of 10 times, if the belly button ring fits, see where I'm going? So now Detective Laurel has to figure out who would want to kill this geeky nouveau riche wannabe.
According to Lorne, Ned continued to party into the wee hours of the morning.
Lorne!
While Lorne continued to rescue him.
Awesome! What are you doing here? You called me, Ned.
All right. Oh, it's a belly button ring.
Jeez, Ned. I think it's time we call it.
Let's call it a good time.
Jesus.
Get it? A good time.
Ned, wake up. Ned.
Ned starts hanging out with strippers regularly.
Here, drink this.
And proceeds to drink himself into oblivion night after night. Hoping to save his brother from eternal damnation, Lorne formulates a plan to get Ned into rehab and clean up his act.
What do you say we go down to Florida, just the two of us? Soak up some sun.
Lorne has been in touch with a rehab facility just outside of Disneyland and is hoping once they arrive, he can persuade Ned to check himself in.
Just us brothers, living at large.
Yeah, maybe we can check out some clubs on the way.
Sure.
All right.
I'll book it.
Great. Well, let's have a drink to celebrate.
Okay.
Later that day, Lorne sets to work planning their trip to Florida.
What's this? Dry and Mighty Rehab Facility. We use the Holy Spirits to help release your loved ones from their demons.
Brother, you need help.
You need help. You're brainwashed with all this religious crap. You think you're so much better than everybody else. Why don't you just have fun for once?
The last thing an addict wants when they're about to hit rock bottom is some do-gooder religious dude trying to save him. At least that's the way Ned's looking at it. But when you back a wild animal into a corner, someone tends to get hurt. So Lorne better watch his almighty ass.
Ned, it's Lorne. Call me. I said I was sorry.
Lorne tries for the next couple of days to get in touch with Ned, but Ned refuses to take his calls. A week after their fight, Lorne finally decides to confront Ned. But when he knocks on the door, an unknown woman answers.
Is Ned home?
No, he went to Florida.
Who are you?
I'm Ned's friend. He wanted me to house sit for him while he's away.
He couldn't go on the trip. I have the tickets.
What? That doesn't make sense. I dropped him off at the airport.
Now officially investigating a homicide, Detective Laurel searches Ned's house.
Would you look at that?
She finds a small trace of blood on a cat statue.
Bingo.
Luminol reveals pools of blood that have been hastily cleaned up.
With that amount of blood at the scene of the crime, Detective Laurel knows that Ned was likely dead long before he made it into the trunk of his car. Now she's got to figure out who put him there and why.
It also reveals a handprint.
Finding a handprint at a murder scene is like winning big at the roulette table. It is a good high. The killers essentially left a calling card, but Ned was hanging out with the underbelly of society in the form of drug dealers and strippers. So tracking down the perp is like looking for a belly button ring in a haystack. You know what I'm saying?
So, forensic testing confirms the blood belongs to Ned.
Detective Laurel brings Ned's mysterious new house sitter in for questioning. Her name is Karina.
We believe that you're the last person to see him alive, so I wanted to bring you in for some fingerprints.
But why?
Well, it's just a standard procedure. I just want to rule you out.
Okay, but you know I could never hurt Neddy.
This little doohickey here is for the fingerprints.
Karina tells Detective Laurel that after emigrating from Russia, she got a job dancing at the most popular strip club in town, the Pole Vault. She uses the cash she earned from stripping to put herself through school to become a mortician.
You've got beautiful hands.
Realizing Ned isn't one of the usual meatheads on Perv Row, Karina feels sorry for him and shares a drink.
You've got beautiful. You've got beautiful.
Thankful for the attention, Ned buys her drinks all night.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello.
Soon, Ned is spending all of his money on Karina.
How was your day?
It's been a good day. How was your day?
Very good. Shopping?
And invites her to live rent-free at his house.
I can stay?
Please.
Oh, Ned, you're the best. You're just the best.
Karina's a clever girl who saw Ned as an easy mark and set out to get him. She's been around the block once or twice, and she knows that vulnerable guys with loads of money and time on their hands are just looking for a pretty girl and lots of attention. A seasoned gold digger like Karina can deliver on that with one hand tied behind her back. Now, some people may call girls like Karina opportunists, but in my line of work, we call them something else: suspects.
When the fingerprint analysis comes in, the results are damning.
So, your fingerprints were found all over the crime scene.
But I live there.
They were found in Ned's blood. Give me your hand. What'd I tell you?
Боже, помоги мне. It wasn't me. But I know he did it.
Karina knows she's done for. The imprint of her palm is literally written in Ned's blood, but Karina's a hustler who could talk a dying man out of his last breath. So there's no telling what tale she'll tell.
Blood evidence puts Karina, a stripper at the Pole Vault, at the scene of Ned's murder.
What happened, Karina?
Unable to deny she was there, she dishes to Detective Laurel.
Любовь моя, this is my friend Vlad.
Vlad is a Russian gangster. who loves to gamble. He's always had a taste for the finer things in life.
Hi.
But he'd rather use other people's money to get it.
This is my friend Eddie.
Good to meet you.
Karina admits that she and her boyfriend Vlad have been scamming Ned since he walked into the club.
In reality, Vlad's a Russian gangster wannabe who's hooked up with his stripper girlfriend to make an easy buck at other people's expense. He lives by the motto, why do the work when others will do it for you? We'll see how that works out for him.
Karina and Vlad keep their relationship a secret so that Karina can gain Ned's trust, steal his money,
I love you.
and ultimately fund their expensive gambling habit. Once they're alone, Karina puts their plan into action. The drug knocks Ned out for a good hour. Vlad steals his bank card. Karina gives him Ned's PIN number, and he withdraws money from Ned's account, while Karina deletes the bank alerts from his inbox. When Vlad returns, he puts Ned's bank cards in his wallet, and they continue partying. No one the wiser.
Place your bets.
Karina and Vlad begin to rely on their gift horse, regularly knocking Ned out.
Yeah, no more bets.
Stealing his money and using it to fuel their gambling binges.
Because Ned spends most of his waking hours drunk, he has no idea which end is up, much less how much money is left in his bank account. Whenever he looks at his balance, which is pretty much never at this point, he just assumes he's the one who made the withdrawals, which is exactly what Karina and Vlad want him to believe.
Karina thinks they've got it made in the shade. Until...
Lapuchka, what's wrong?
I miss Lauren. I think I should go to rehab.
But you don't have a problem.
I'm thinking you might be right. And I think I should go.
Concerned they won't be able to rip Ned off if he gets sober, a panicked Karina calls Vlad.
We have a problem. He wants to go to rehab. What are we gonna do?
They decide to cash in one last time before Ned leaves for rehab.
He fell asleep before I could drag him. We'll have to wait. What are we gonna do?
Karina and Vlad have figured out a timeline that basically ensures they won't get caught. With the sleeping pill, they can guarantee Ned will be passed out for an hour, more than enough time to do the deed. But if Ned falls asleep on his own, that means he can wake up on his own, which messes up their foolproof plan.
Talk to me.
I'll deal with it.
And by foolproof, I mean haphazard and designed by fools.
Where is he?
In his bedroom.
But Vlad, unwilling to miss their final opportunity to scam Ned,
No. No.
goes full steam ahead.
Nazipara.
Stay here, Kochi.
Vlad plans to hit Ned over the head, knocking him out just long enough to rob him.
What are you doing?
Come back here!
No!
No! No!
I'll choke you!
What happened?
He woke up.
So you killed him?
So Vlad's brilliant plan of knocking Ned out for an hour pretty much went belly up. Now, instead of wondering where their next mark is coming from, they gotta figure out how to get rid of a body. All you people out there who are thinking about this line of work, this is how dumb people become dumb killers.
If you tell anyone, you're gonna be the next one. You clean this up, and I'll get him in the car.
Vlad has gone from gangsta wannabe to full-fledged murderer, and Karina is afraid he'll have no problem crossing the line again. This, my friends, is how you become an accessory after the fact. You may not have killed the dude or even wanted it to happen, but if you don't report it, you're going down just as hard as the perpetrator who did it.
Sure. She's lying. I have nothing to do with nerd dying. She gave him too many sleeping pills and he OD'd.
Huh. In my experience, when you have two criminals looking down the barrel of a murder charge, you can usually count on them pointing the finger at each other. Call it self-preservation at all costs.
So you're saying you had nothing to do with Ned's death?
Can you swing it? Hell no.
You're gonna stick with that story then?
The autopsy report reveals that Ned died of blunt force trauma to the head, and there were no drugs found in his system.
I'm done talking.
Vlad looks like he just heard the words checkmate, but here's the problem. Detective Laurel's got two different stories from two unreliable witnesses. So what do you do when both of your suspects are pointing the finger at each other? Well, you follow the evidence, because it doesn't lie.
Looking for a break in the murder case of local tech whiz Ned, who was found dead in the trunk of his car, Detective Laurel reviews the CCTV footage of the parking garage at the casino.
Would you look at that?
It shows Karina and Vlad driving Ned's car into the parking lot. The footage also shows Karina and Vlad losing thousands at the roulette table and repeatedly withdrawing money from the casino's ATM.
Well, I'll be damned.
Ned's bank records show the withdrawals made from the casino ATM are from his checking account.
Detective Laurel can be pretty sure it's not Ned withdrawing his own money because he's dead as a doornail. She can also be pretty sure that Karina was a willing participant in this ruse because she's hanging out with Vlad, gambling and partying like it's 1999.
So, what'd you think there, Karina?
I had no choice. I only helped Vlad dispose the body. I swear on my life I did not kill him.
After cleaning up Ned's blood and accidentally leaving her palm print on the floor, they sneak Ned's body out of the house.
Hey, Ned. How you doing? Hi there. How's it going? Everything all right, Ned? Yeah, all good. We gotta go.
Come on.
Karina and Vlad think Ned's body will stay frozen until they can figure out where to hide it permanently.
More, honey. More. Just put more.
In the meantime, they party hard. Well, unbeknownst to them, poor old Ned is decomposing in the trunk.
Okay, more. Money, money, money.
Unfortunately for these two winners, they didn't check the weather. So a sunny day in February turns out to be their downfall. Karma's a killer.
Nenia, fish, you idiot. Look at them, my
What are you talking? Shut up! You should give him more pills.
It is all your fault.
Stupid woman. Come on, go away.
You are stupid.
You stupid?
You killed him with a bottle.
Wake up!
Karina and Vlad are both arrested. Vlad is sentenced to life in prison for murder, fraud, and robbery. Karina receives 25 years for accessory to murder, fraud, and robbery.
Karina and Vlad gambled big time and lost. They thought they could get away with using Ned and his money for the foreseeable future, but when he threatened to get sober, they saw their money train coming to an abrupt halt, and they chose to keep it running at any cost. But by acting impulsively, they made a fatal mistake and crossed the line from common criminal to killer. They took the life of a lonely tech whiz whose only fault was drowning his sorrows to heal his broken heart. Karina and Vlad took advantage of the poor sap, but got busted by a bright, sunny day. There's a little bit of poetry in that, don't you think?